Alright, what's up guys, it's Tech9, and today this is my third video in the Richard Mille watch series, continuing with the RM-003. Unlike the last two watches, the RM-003 has a major upgrade. This watch has a dual time zone, meaning you can set it to your watch to another time zone in the world at the same time. The RM-003 has two separate motors, two separate major additions: the RM-003 version 1 and the RM-003 version 2. The first one was made, and the motor was the very first one made in-house by Richard Mille, and it would set the tone for that these watches were going to be made in-house. The first version is mainly titanium, which is a very strong material. However, version 2 has extensive use of carbon fiber with some ceramic in the tourbillon cage, which makes it much easier on wear and tear. The RM-003 continues the trend for Richard Mille to create absolutely massive watches, with the RM-003 being 48 millimeters wide. That is massive. And considering that an AP Royal Oak is about 41 millimeters, and that is for some men too big for their wrist. The owners of the RM-003 are few and far in between. Most owners of such watches are anonymous due to the sheer prices of the watch and the target it puts on their backs for robbery. It's actually quite a common trend to have these watches yet not say a word about it. While individuals such as Travis Scott and Drake and Central C, they all have these watches, and they show them off because, well, that's part of their job. That's why that's the reason why there are auctions for these watches that go into tens of millions of dollars that are anonymous and silent. There is one confirmed owner that has been seen wearing it. His name is Hassan al-Bolkiah Muzaddin Wadullah, the Sultan of Brunei, whom we have covered before and owns the RM-002. It's unknown who else wears it. In today's world, it is still a revolutionary watch, considering that only two watches before the watch came out in 2002 who had similar complications of the RM-003, which means that only two watches in the world, somewhat, had a dual-time tourbillon. And even then, the similar watches that have it don't have that exact same complication. However, the RM-003 has some special editions that are rarer than the normal models, like the first version and second version. They include the RM-003 Asia Boutique, which comes into its own in 2005 or so when Richard Mille opened up its first store on the continent. This watch, among others, would lead a trend of that certain watches would only be sold in different countries, such as Europe and Asia, and these watches are quite an interesting topic of marketing and style, and I will talk more about these Asia edition watches in other videos. The Asia Boutique has about 12 pieces and can go upwards of $650,000. Other versions include the all-black version, which has about 10 pieces worldwide, and it goes for about $350,000. Finally, the RM-003 Carbon EMA edition, which has about 5 pieces, and on the secondary market is a whopping $1.25 million. The RM-003 is a groundbreaking watch in horological history and shows us that Richard Mille is timeless. Pun very much intended, my friends. And with the RM-003, among previous and future watches in the brand, amazing advertising and celebrity owners, Richard Mille set itself among the stars and in horological history. And Richard Mille accomplished his dreams in relatively 3 years of him starting his own brand, and that for me is absolutely shocking. Nowadays, you hear these stories about people becoming either one-hit wonders or one meme wonders, and then them just fading into obscurity. It's honestly amazing that Richard Mille was able to put himself in legendary legend. Excuse me, everybody. I'm having a brain fart. In legendary status within 50 years of his lifetime. For example, watch companies such as Patek Philippe and Rolex, Omega. These watches have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it took them decades to get where they are today. And it's honestly amazing to see how these new companies can start up and with enormous technological prowess and hard work, they can build amazing companies. And I only hope that we can all do great things of our own as well. All right, that's all from me, everybody. Be sure to keep following me, subscribe to me on all platforms. I am on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, on YouTube, which you're probably watching me on, and make sure to subscribe and help me keep on the lights. I love you all very much. Later.